Hello, it is May 6th, 2025, and this is the story of why this day means something to my family and why I'm a stay-at-home mom. So, I woke up this morning and I realized my toddler had open heart surgery today, 3 years ago. My husband and I found out we were pregnant with him in February of 2021. Well, when he was 13 weeks in utero, we found out that he had something called tetralogy of Fallot, TOF for short. And it is a congenital heart defect where the two chambers in between your heart don't fully form, so they leak. He was going to have that fixed. Well, we had to go to Pittsburgh for ultrasounds and blood work and all that stuff, and we found out that I was going to deliver him there and that he would have to go to Children's Hospital. This is a picture of my husband and I with him, and they took him. I got to hold him maybe a couple minutes, and I did get to cut his umbilical cord. So they told us to prepare for the worst. They said that with these kids, sometimes they come out blue and they're not breathing. Well, he came out screaming bloody murder, which is amazing, obviously. We got to hold him, and then they took him to get him cleaned up and ready to transport him to Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. Well, I will insert a picture. I got to hold his little hand. He was holding my finger right before they transported him. They moved me into my recovery room, and in the morning, he was born at 12:30 in the morning. Around 8, my husband left to go to the hospital and see him, and he would just send me videos and stuff. Well, I got out the next day, and we went to see him, and we got to take him home 3 days later. And once home, we had to take him to the pediatrician every week. She is 25 minutes away, and we had to take him to Pittsburgh every other week. So it was a lot of running, but it's fine. He was fine. Anything to make sure he was okay. And then fast forward to May 6th. Well, then they took him to surgery at 8:30. They started it in the morning, and we finally got to see him around 2:30. And honestly, I'd be lying if I didn't say that was the hardest day of my life. Just waiting in that waiting room, knowing that they literally have your baby cut open and that they're doing open heart surgery on him. They shouldn't do that to babies, they do that to old people, not babies. Well, he was groggy and, but I'll insert some pictures of him. I mean, he was in the hospital at Children's for 6 days before we got to bring him home, and he's doing well. Now he goes to his cardiologist every May, so he only has to go once a year now. He actually has his appointment coming up in about a week and a half from now, so we'll get to look at his heart then. And if you want an update, I'll give you an update. But, we had this talk back in October, my husband and I, and he asked me how I felt about being a stay-at-home mom. And I said, well, could we do it? Would we be okay? And he said, yeah, we would be okay. But he said that he kind of got teary-eyed, and he said, I need you to do this, if you're okay with that. He said, I think it would just make me feel better if you stayed home with him. Anyway, so I quit working at the school, and, that was 3.5 years ago. Well, a little over 3.5 years ago. I love being a stay-at-home mom, though. Sometimes it is quite lonely, but, it's not too bad anymore. But honestly, whenever he was little, and after he just had surgery, it really took a toll on me. I'm not gonna lie. But, we are 3 years out. He's doing good. And, he's just like every other normal 3-year-old. He's just really small. He's only 28 pounds. He eats, but I guess he just runs around too much. He's crazy. But, anyway, that is, why I'm a stay-at-home mom. If you have any questions you want to ask me about my son or anything in general, feel free to ask. That is my son's story and why I'm a stay-at-home mom. So, thank you so much for watching, and hit the follow button if you want to follow along in my life with my sons and husband. Thank you.